Bishop of the Romanian Orthodox Diocese in Canada, the venerable priests and deacons in Christ, and for all the clergy and the people, let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, have mercy.
For Elizabeth II, our Queen, and for all those who are in civil authority, for all those who are in service of our country, and for all the Canadian, Romanian, and Hungarian people, let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, have mercy.
For the servants of God, Akos and Andra, who are now being joined together in the sacrament of marriage, and for their salvation, let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, have mercy.
That this marriage may be blessed as was that in Cana of Galilee, let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, have mercy.
That they may be granted temperance and the fruit of good children, as is expedient for them, let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, have mercy.
That they may rejoice in seeing their sons and daughters, let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, have mercy.
Pentru ca să li se dea lor bucurie nașterii de prunci buni și portarea fără de prihană în viață, Domnului să ne rugăm.
Doamne, miluiește.
You guys want to come in and film? Yeah, it was the logs. The logs came with a paddle wheel down the North Saskatchewan River, and they were dropped off at the Desertleys crossing, and they were hauled here to site.
That's when I got here.
Thank you. Okay, can I ring the bell, or prefer not?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll ring the bell when we're leaving. So just come around to the front as well, guys.
Here?
And even here, so after they had the fire out, this part was still, we had to push it down for safety reasons, but the old log stayed standing. So the altar, they had stained glass windows that the local families all pitched in, and they had beautiful the icons on each of the stained glass windows. We had 3 on each side, and all the local families pitched in together, and they purchased these stained glass windows, and they had their family names on it. and it was just a beautiful little church inside. It had the blue bottom like the Romanian churches in Romania had, and just very, very near and dear to so many in our neighborhood, our community. Yep.
You want these pictures? I can send you these pictures. That was left this morning, and the next morning, that's all that was left.
A more than century-old church east of Edmonton. The sacred structure was supposed to host a very special celebration this weekend. CTV's Merita Cash has more tonight on the rich history of St. Mary's Romanian Orthodox Church and how the parish is already starting to pick up the pieces.
This church was built by Romanian pioneers 117 years ago. Now what's left is being demolished less than 24 hours after catching fire.
Driving up today, when I got to the highway and I'm looking over, and it's like you can't tell this spot exists anymore, basically. You know what I mean? It's like there's nothing there.
Wanda Ludick-Neufeld grew up about 5 kilometers north of here. Her mother, Violet, got married at St. Mary's 74 years ago.
My grandparents are buried here. My husband's buried here. And we got married here, and the nephews are baptized in this church.
Your son got married here?
And my son got married here.
Ludick-Neufeld's family has built over half a century of memories on this property. Seeing pictures of it in flames was devastating.
To me, it almost defied belief. Like it just, it's burning internally. It was devastating. I felt like it gutted me.
Reverend Mir Chapanchuk served as the priest of St. Mary's for 54 years. He retired from regular services at the church back in March, and now he lives in Montreal. He expected to be back this weekend for a farewell dinner, but instead, he's surveying the damage of what used to be his livelihood.
So I was flying in yesterday and landed and got some phone calls right away. And very, very shocked about what's happened.
In the meantime, the church plans to hold services outdoors. Panchuk has no doubt the community will rebuild.
Already I found a feeling of we will rebuild, we will continue what was left to us by these pioneers that came here.
Merrick Takash, CTV News, Boian.
So with the original church being 1905, they did update the steps. We had a wheelchair ramp down the side, and very, very proud. I'm a fourth generation to the area, and from the cemetery here, all of our families are up here. So it's very close to the whole community. When the fire came, it only took a few hours, but there was 100 people. Everybody couldn't believe. So it was very, very hard. Yeah. So the original bell from the bell tower, we moved when it came down. And then they have a couple monuments and stuff here as well. So we put a new bell, and the amount of the baptisms, the christenings, the weddings, there's so many memories that we had in the church. The family's Father Panchik was our priest, 54 years. He's special. So he baptized, he married and buried a lot of the people in 54 years. So yeah, it's and just we're a big community, but we're also a small community. The families, the generations that first came and settled are still here. the families, the Bazovis, the Pirojnis, the Tomas, the Hutskals, the Soproviches, and there's, I'm sure I'm missing, there's lots more. There's just so many that are part of the community and help keep going, the Haukas, and they, for a little church like this, they have the community that keeps it going. They come and they move the snow. They come and they bring the water for the christenings and they keep everything going. And that's the community that just looks out for each other. So it's very, very sad that we lost. We are going to rebuild. And it's going to be good. We are together, and it's going to take some time, some planning. Our goal is to rebuild it and to rebuild our community at the same time, to get everybody to join. So where we are with the church board, we are looking for input from everyone from the congregation. So we want everyone to have their voice. It seems everybody wants Boian. They want their church back. So it's we lost. We're going to rebuild. We're going to make Boian great again. So it's probably going to look very similar. It won't be the same church, but it's going to look similar and
maybe bigger.
Maybe hopefully a little bit bigger, and maybe some amenities as well. That's what we're hoping to get started on soon. So if we come around, this is the historic bell tower. So this the bell tower is registered as a historical site. So we still have the bell tower. So we get to keep this area as a historical site. So if we want, we can walk around. David give us permission to ring the bell as well. I think that's important to hear.
We will thank him and thank you.
Yes. And then you can see here that the frame for the doors, they pulled that off for us as well. And then they were also able to get the crosses off of the top of the church. So we have those in storage that we'll save. Here we have the cross and the altar. So they put this, we use for blessing of the graves, and we now they did an outside service we use as altar. The cross lights up, and they put it on, and you can actually see from about 15 miles away. You can see the bright light of the cross. So you can see, like driving down the highway, you can see the lights of Boian. And it really, it's very nice. So we're working at getting the power back to get the cross lit up again. And then with the cemetery, lots of the families, they maintain the headstones. We have the one there was Mason, so he built his own, and they have lots of the all the way back from 1905 is when we first started up here. Yeah, I actually very close. So my Mashu and grandma.
Grandfather.
Yes.
Okay.
That's my grandfather right here. Tom and Kay. They're one of the early settlers, and they were here with the church as well. As you can see, we have the Pirojnis, the Bazovi families. They're still very active in our community. My dad's is down on the other end, this is a community. When we come, when we have blessing of the graves, a couple hundred people will come and pay tribute to their families and just a memory and get together, and it's just very special up here. I believe it was a year ago. One of the One of the board members actually just shared that with me. He has a plaque in his house from the homestead of the first settler. So, yeah. Tomas, yes, Tomas very different families. So we have Toma families. There's different generations that have. They're not related, but they share the same last name. But when we come together here, we're all one family, and they do they come and look after the church board does. They try to preserve the headstones, and they keep very good records. And yeah, very peaceful up here. A lot of people will come up. There's always traffic coming, so it could be a Monday night, and people will come just to spend some time with their families, and they enjoy the space. It's calming. Yeah, and we can go all the way down. So some of the put wooden crosses back in the day. They didn't have money for the cement, so they had the wooden crosses. So we try to keep the best we can to keep them maintained. And
no name.
The church has records of, but no, there's not. They don't have names on all. If you guys like, I could maybe get one of the other church board members to come and give a little bit more details, information on the church and the cemetery and things like that, if you like.
Okay.
Yeah.
The color is black.
Oh, the headstones, like why the black ones? The black has just kind of been, it's a granite, and it just lasts longer, and so that's yeah. So the cement needs maintenance. The granite they can keep; it will stay for generations. Yeah. So that's why the granite is a more common choice now. The white, yes, yeah, and then the crosses are wood. So the wood, and you can see because they do keep they weed eat and stuff, and as the wood wears out, they have to change the cross. So you can see now when we had the fire, all the spruce trees on the back, how they burnt, and so before we do any kind of rebuilding, we're going to have to take those trees down because they'll be a hazard to the new building.
Yeah.
But those again.
There is that anyway.
Yeah, and these are those that have lost the babies before unbaptized. So that's why they're in so we can go and we'll ring the bell, and then you can hear the sound of the bell, and they'll hear down at the museum as well. So a lot of the small churches, they would have a bell tower, and that was when church service was starting, they would ring the bell. Back in the day when they had horses and buggies, there was usually a church every 5 or 7 miles. There was a small church, and that's the sound would travel. So that's quite often the people couldn't travel very far, so they built everything close. So the church bell was very iconic and part of every community. So you have to be careful not to. As a kid, they let me pull the rope once, and if you don't let go of the rope, you go up with it. So we'll try. I haven't actually rang the new bell, so this will be a first for me too. Okay. Father Panchiko, you'll be talking with him, so he'll tell you the full story. But he had the cross made from Romania and brought over, and they had, and then the local people donated their time and materials, and they built the stand and the base for it. It came right from Romania. I can open this for you. So same from here coming up the gate. This is the hill. Used to be they would come with horse and wagon. They would come up the hill for the church service, and they built the gate. And it's always been come up the hill to Boian.